Caesar Marcus Aurelius Antoninus Augustus, the philosopher king of Rome, was among the 5 good emperors and the final link in this distinguished chain. He exemplified virtues through effective leadership, earning his place among these exemplary rulers to have presided over the Roman Empire. He had a courtly upbringing and trained in wrestling, boxing, as well as Stoic philosophy that caught his interest the most. His life was marked by his journey of ruling Rome during its harshest years. Despite apocalyptic events, he rose to the occasion as the virtuous and most selfless emperor Rome had ever witnessed. In the midst of these battles, he documented his thoughts in the renowned Meditations, a personal guide for self-improvement and enlightenment. In this video, we'll explore the profound personal and civic challenges that Marcus Aurelius confronted while steadfastly upholding his principles of integrity and peace, alongside an in-depth discussion of his philosophical outlook. Marcus Aurelius was born to Marcus Annius Verus III and Domitia Calvilla in the city of Rome on the 26th of April 121 AD. He was raised by his grandfather Marcus Annius Verus II and mother Domitia after the demise of his father. As Aurelius displayed an interest in wrestling and boxing, he trained in them both. Besides physical activities, he was tutored by Diognetus, a painting master who introduced him to a philosophic way of life. Marcus embraced Stoic philosophy, mastering principles of virtuous behavior where he embodied selflessness and integrity. Stoicism is a philosophical school of thought that emphasizes cultivating inner tranquility through rationality, advocating acceptance of circumstances beyond one's control, and focusing on personal virtue as the path to a meaningful life. It centers on self-discipline, resilience, and aligning with nature to attain a state of calmness and composure. A striking embodiment of Marcus Aurelius's commitment to Stoic philosophy is evident in his willingness to endure voluntary hardships. Notably, he wrapped himself in a rough Greek cloak and opted to rest on the ground until persuaded by his mother to use a bed. This practice resonated with fundamental Stoic principle: the deliberate embrace of challenges, nurturing resilience, and cultivating personal virtue. Following this, Homeric scholar Alexander of Cotyaium, alongside Troisus Aper and Tuticius Proculus, guided him in Latin. He was also guided in literary styling by Cotyaium, which is made evident in Aurelius's work The Meditations by the skillful diction and the occasional employment of Homeric quotations. Amidst his academic pursuits, his life underwent a transition on the 24th of January 138 AD that would mark the beginning of his political journey. Marcus Aurelius became emperor through a chain of events connected to Hadrian's decisions. Hadrian, the emperor before Marcus Aurelius, chose Antoninus Pius as his successor. Pius then adopted Marcus Aurelius as his son and heir, due to him being married to Marcus's aunt, Faustina the Elder. This adoption was part of Hadrian's plan for a smooth transition of power. It was time for Marcus to leave his mother's residence on Caelian Hill, and so he moved into Hadrian's private abode. The shift of residence and the profound influence of his adoptive family shaped the trajectory of his life, setting the stage for the remarkable legacy he would leave behind. The transition of power from Antoninus was marked by tranquility and stability. During this period, Marcus was engaged by Antoninus in various administrative assignments, which would later prove beneficial as Marcus assumed the role of Antoninus's successor. As he took on the responsibilities of a quaestor overseeing financial affairs, Marcus found himself in a position that demanded his participation in crucial matters. Among these duties were reading official communications from the emperor to the Senate when Antoninus was absent and handling confidential matters for senators. He carried out his role as quaestor with unwavering dedication, immediately following the completion of his formal education under Cornelius Fronto, a preeminent rhetorician of this era, as well as Junius Rusticus, who nurtured Marcus's affinity for Stoicism. Soon, Antoninus had his daughter Faustina marry Marcus to strengthen their familial connection within the imperial lineage. The couple shared 33 years of marital bliss, during which Faustina gave birth to 13 children. But due to unfortunate circumstances, the couple had to bear the loss of some of those children. Among those who survived, their daughter Lucilla and son Commodus are the most prominent in history. In the year 154 AD, Marcus advanced from the position of quaestor to that of consul. He went on to occupy the consulship twice more during his lifetime. As time progressed, he assumed increasingly significant duties and official authorities, establishing himself as a robust pillar of support and trusted advisor for Antoninus. Antoninus entrusted both the governance of Rome and the guardianship of his daughter Faustina into the capable hands of Marcus Aurelius. This decision was underpinned by Antoninus's belief that Marcus would extend the same devotion he'd demonstrated towards Faustina to the welfare of the whole Roman Empire. By 161 AD, Aurelius had ascended to the throne of Rome, assuming a position of profound authority, though formal titles were still pending. The Senate was in the process of bestowing upon him the prestigious title Augustus, along with the distinguished designation of Imperator. Additionally, he was officially elected as Pontifex Maximus, the principal priest entrusted with overseeing the state religion in ancient Rome. While Marcus possessed philosophical leanings, he didn't immediately embrace his newfound power. According to his biographer, he might have felt somewhat obligated to take on imperial responsibilities, perhaps due to a deep-seated horror imperii, a sense of apprehension towards imperial authority. Nonetheless, he recognized his duties and commitments, guided by his Stoic principles. He chose to share the burdens of his office with his co-emperor Lucius. This stance differed from the Senate's intention to confirm Marcus as the sole ruler. This marked the first instance of Rome being co-governed by two emperors. Although they appeared equal in status, Marcus held a more substantial measure of authority compared to Lucius. Conversely, Lucius respected Marcus's leadership, akin to how a lieutenant adheres to a proconsul's directives or a governor follows the emperor's commands. The duo garnered popularity among the people of Rome due to their modest and unbiased behavior, which was well received by the citizens. The emperor's acceptance of open expression was evident, as even a comedy writer like Marullus dared to critique them without facing consequences. In his early reign, Marcus made significant changes to key officials within the empire. The early years of Aurelius's rule unfolded without major hindrances, allowing him to dedicate himself to philosophy and winning the affection of the public. However, soon he faced major catastrophic situations. In either late 161 or early 162, the overflow of the Tibet River led to extensive flooding, resulting in famine in Rome. This was a critical time for the city that Marcus and Lucius managed most responsibly. During this time, Fronto kept writing letters to Marcus. These letters were like advice, reminding Marcus that learning was really important, especially as he himself became more important in public life. Fronto noticed that Marcus started liking speaking well again, even though he lost some interest for a short time. He also reminded Marcus that he needed to balance his different roles and his love for philosophy. People in Rome really liked Marcus because he did a great job as both a ruler and a student. The Roman Empire found itself entangled in a conflict against Parthia, a war prompted by the Parthian Empire's invasion of Roman-controlled lands in the eastern regions. Vologases IV of Parthia made his move, seizing the kingdom of Armenia, which was a Roman client state at the time. He conquered the land by ousting its king and surrendered responsibility to his own appointee, Pacorus. This situation wasn't the only challenge on Rome's horizon, as threats loomed in other frontiers as well, including Britain, Raetia and Upper Germany, where the Chatti tribe had crossed into Roman territory. Marcus, though unprepared, took the helm. Interestingly, Antoninus, his predecessor, hadn't given him many opportunities for military experience. Instead of being in the provinces where the previous emperors had learned military skills, he'd spent the long reign of Antoninus right by his side. Since the Kingdom of Armenia was located in the eastern regions, close to the Parthian border, the Roman province of Syria held particular importance. It served as a pivotal gateway for Roman communication and influence in the east. This proximity meant that the governor of Syria would be directly involved in addressing the Parthian threat and coordinating Roman responses. As the conflict escalated, news of the Parthian victory over the Roman forces under the Syrian governor's command reached the Roman leadership. The defeat of the Roman army and the retreat in disarray signified a significant setback for Rome's eastern interests. This development demanded immediate attention and strategic decisions from the Roman authorities. Consequently, the appointment of a new governor for Syria became a crucial decision for Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Choosing Annius Libo, his trusted first cousin, to fill this role was not only a response to the challenges posed by the Parthian conflict, but also a testament to the importance of maintaining stability and control in the region. Libo's lack of military experience might seem unconventional for a governor of a region facing military threats. However, Aurelius's choice was influenced by a broader consideration of reliability and loyalty in the face of adversity. As news of an impending rebellion in Syria surfaced, Rome had to make critical choices. It was ultimately decided that Lucius, Marcus's co-emperor, should lead the Parthian campaign. This decision wasn't without its debates. Some argued that Lucius's physical strength and robust health made him a more suitable candidate for military endeavors compared to Marcus. This was a pragmatic perspective considering the demands of the campaign. However, that decision might have held deeper intentions. Sending Lucius to the battlefield could serve as a transformative experience. It could potentially temper his indulgent lifestyle, encourage frugality, instill discipline through the challenges of warfare, and ultimately remind him of his profound responsibility as an emperor. In a sense, this decision was not only a military strategy, but also a calculated move to shape the character and actions of the co-emperor, aligning him with the virtues and demands of leadership in the Roman Empire. Amid the backdrop of his philosophical leanings, which inclined towards the principles of Stoicism emphasizing rationality, virtue, and self-discipline, Marcus Aurelius's reign was also marked by the challenge of Germanic tribes and other nomadic groups launching incursions along the northern border of the Roman Empire. These raids, particularly into Gaul and across the Danube, tested Marcus's leadership acumen and determination, even as he drew inspiration from his philosophical beliefs. As the Germanic incursions intensified in the 160s, the threat escalated in 166 AD when the Macromani, a Germanic tribe from Bohemia, crossed the Danube alongside Lombards and other tribal factions. The scope of the invasion expanded further as the Costoboci, originating from the Carpathian region, ventured into Moesia, Macedonia, and Greece. Amid this tumultuous situation, Marcus Aurelius demonstrated his resilience and leadership prowess, guided by the tenets of Stoicism. Drawing from the philosophy's emphasis on rational and virtuous action, he marshaled his resources and military might to push back the invaders, successfully quelling the incursions over a prolonged struggle. The response to these invasions necessitated strategic decisions that led to the settlement of numerous Germanic tribes in frontier regions, including Dacia, Pannonia, Germany, and even Italy itself. This influx of settlers prompted the establishment of new frontier provinces, such as Sarmatia and Marcomannia, which encompassed the present-day Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Hungary. Moreover, the unrest was not confined to the frontiers alone. Some Germanic tribes that had been brought to Ravenna for settlement managed to seize control of the city, underscoring the complexity of maintaining order within the empire. In response, Marcus Aurelius took a firm stance, decided against further migration of barbarians into Italy, and even banished those who had been previously settled there. Another aspect of Marcus Aurelius's governance was his careful attention to the welfare of the city and its inhabitants, especially in the face of various challenges such as floods, wars, and health crises. He demonstrated a strong commitment to the theory and practice of legislation, with a particular focus on several key areas of law. These areas included the manumission of slaves, the guardianship of orphans and minors, and the selection of city councillors. Despite being the absolute ruler of the empire, Marcus displayed a high level of respect for the Roman Senate. He regularly sought the Senate's permission to allocate funds for various purposes, as it reinforced the notion of shared governance and collaboration between the emperor and the Senate, even though the ultimate authority rested with him. In his speeches and actions, Marcus emphasized his role as a custodian of the empire rather than a sole proprietor. He regarded the imperial palace as belonging to the Senate rather than as his personal possession, underscoring his commitment to the collective well-being of the Roman state. During his reign, Aurelius also made a significant monetary decision by revaluing the denarius, the Roman silver coin. He increased the silver purity of the denarius from 79% to 82%, resulting in a higher silver content of the coin. However, due to the military crises that the empire was facing, he later reverted to the previous values. This decision reflected his pragmatic approach to governance, where he needed to balance economic stability with the demands of the empire's defense. As the philosopher king grappled with external threats, his realm was also plagued by internal challenges, including a devastating outbreak of the Antonine Plague, also known as the Plague of Galen. The plague, believed to be caused by either smallpox or measles, struck the Roman Empire during a time when it was already dealing with military conflicts and invasions. The pandemic wreaked havoc on the population, claiming countless lives, later including that of Marcus Aurelius himself. The emperor's response to the crisis showcased his resilience and determination to lead his people through the darkest of times. Despite his own struggles with illness and the grief of losing loved ones, Aurelius continued to govern and make decisions to address the crisis. His administrative reforms aimed at easing the burden of the pandemic on the populace, such as granting tax exemptions and encouraging landowners to provide relief to their tenants, exemplified his sense of duty towards the well-being of the empire's citizens. Despite the challenges posed by the Antonine Plague and other adversities, Marcus Aurelius's reign stands as a testament to his unwavering commitment to uphold the principles of justice, wisdom, and virtue in the face of adversity. His legacy as a philosopher king endures, inspiring generations to navigate challenges with resilience and moral clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote Meditations as a personal journal and collection of philosophical reflections during his reign as the emperor. Meditations was never intended for publication. Instead, he wrote it as a form of self-examination and self-improvement. It served as a way for him to record his thoughts, values, and philosophical principles as he grappled with the responsibilities and challenges of being an emperor. The Meditations are organized into 12 books or sections, each containing a series of short, reflective passages or meditations. They vary in length and cover a wide range of philosophical and practical topics. While there is no overarching narrative or linear progression, the work is unified by Marcus Aurelius's commitment to Stoic principles and his ongoing quest for self-improvement. Its key themes and ideas are 1. Stoic philosophy. At its core, Meditations is a manual for living in accordance with Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius reflects on Stoic principles such as virtue, wisdom, courage, and self-discipline. He offers practical advice on how to apply these principles to daily life. 2. Acceptance of fate. A central theme in the book is the acceptance of the natural order and fate. Marcus emphasizes the Stoic idea that we should accept events outside our control, composure, and focus our efforts on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and responses. 3. Self-examination. Marcus engages in deep self-examination and introspection. He encourages readers to reflect on their own behavior, values, and beliefs. This process of self-awareness is a fundamental aspect of Stoic practice. 4. Impermanence. Throughout the Meditations, there's a recurring acknowledgement of the impermanence of all things, including life itself. This recognition serves as a reminder to live in the present moment and not to be overly attached to material possessions or external circumstances. 5. Moral virtue. Marcus emphasizes the importance of moral virtue and living a life of integrity. He believes that one's character is the most valuable possession and that true happiness comes from aligning one's actions with virtue. 6. Duty and service. As an emperor, Marcus Aurelius felt a strong sense of duty to his people and the Roman Empire. He discusses the responsibilities of leadership and the need to serve others selflessly. And finally, 7. Mindfulness and control. Aurelius advocates for self-awareness and self-control. He teaches that we have the power to govern our thoughts and reactions, and that by doing so, we can find inner peace and tranquility even in the most challenging circumstances. The Meditations have had a profound and lasting impact on philosophy and literature. It's been studied and admired by philosophers, scholars, and leaders throughout history. Many prominent figures, including the likes of George Washington, John Stuart Mill, and Frederick the Great, have drawn inspiration from Marcus's writings. The book's enduring popularity is testament to its timeless wisdom and universal applicability, offering valuable guidance for individuals seeking personal growth, resilience, and a deeper understanding of life's complexities. In summary, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius is a philosophical masterpiece that provides profound insights into the human condition and offers practical wisdom for living a life of virtue and inner tranquility. It remains a source of inspiration and guidance for individuals seeking to navigate the challenges of existence with wisdom and integrity. On the 17th of March, in 180 AD, an era came to a poignant close as Marcus Aurelius Antoninus, Rome's 16th emperor, passed away in Sirmium, nestled within the province of Pannonia, which corresponds to modern-day Sremska Mitrovica in Serbia. At the age of 58, his reign, spanning exactly 19 years and 10 days, drew to an end. The circumstances behind his distant location were simple yet profound: the backdrop of war. When returning to Rome in the autumn of 176 AD, Marcus had no inkling that it would be his final return. In 177, his 15-year-old son, the eventual successor Commodus, ascended to the positions of consul and co-emperor alongside his father. However, as March of 180 arrived, marking the start of a new campaign season, the emperor's health suddenly deteriorated. This prompted him to summon Commodus with the purpose of urging his son to continue the war and fulfill the mission that circumstances had taken from Aurelius. On the 17th of March, 180 AD, Emperor Marcus Aurelius took his final breath and departed the mortal realm. Cassius Dio, the esteemed senator and historian, recounted Marcus's final words: "Look to the rising sun, for I am already setting," as mortality embraced him. Tributes poured in, including a cherished golden statue enshrined in the heart of the Senate House, honoring his esteemed stature. The Senate's decree elevated him to the ranks of the deified, dubbing him a Roman god among gods. Amidst turbulent trials, Marcus Aurelius's unwavering commitment to Stoicism anchored his inner peace in the face of adversity. His reign, marked by upheaval, positions him as the ultimate luminary among the 5 good emperors. During their era, Rome flourished in undeniable strength, guided by the compass of virtue. We hope that you enjoyed this video, and for more videos to help you find success and happiness using beautiful philosophical wisdom, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.